Yeah, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where as always, the shit's real, we talk about it. I'm your host for this afternoon, Pat Scorpion, the Northern Representative, and as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yo, what it do is LB, aka Shuttleworth the God, the GOAT artist, Ring Gang, Radio.com in the building. Let's go.
Yes, sir, Ring Gang in the house forever and always. And as always, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yo, what's good? You already know who this is. Your boy King P, Bodega Boxer in the building, and also the leader of Riley Romero Sucks Anonymous. But
hey, Bodega P, he's not from the sewer today. He's taking the day off, man. You above ground. Is that correct, P?
absolutely. It's a nice day. It's National Ice Cream Day, so I had to get my ice cream, and now I'm all ready to talk boxing.
There we go, man. So yeah, man, if you're out and about, man, just get yourself an ice cream, get yourself some, 3 scoops on a waffle cone, and for crying out loud, don't shove it in your mouth. Just eat it slowly. You don't want to get brain freeze and shit. That's just a a little thing for me, because people don't know how to eat ice cream these days.
Although brain freeze will be an upgrade for some of you niggas, like
Bars.
But
like them fucking judges last night.
Yeah, I'm saying
Permanent brain freeze.
Yeah, them judges was wild and incompetent, man. Sometimes I wish they had other fighters had retard power like Rolly, just so they can get rid of these motherfuckers, so we don't have to see all this retarded scores and shit. Though, but we'll get into that though. We'll definitely get into that. But yeah, I mean, as always, Matt P, we salute you for your service in keeping our cities safe from all the miscreants and reprobates that roam New York City and whatnot. So. Yeah, so last and certainly not least, man, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's fly? It's your boy Conscious Pilot, aka the West Coast Avenger, number one contender preparing for liftoff. Destination Ring Gang Radio. Let's get it.
There we go, man. Conscious Pilot, because he stays elevating above the crowd, off the clouds. You dig? That noise. So, but yeah, though, yeah, we got got a little show for you, recap last night's pretty much, it was an excellent Showtime card. Like I said, PBC on Showtime has been fire, lately, like for mostly fire, like which is almost 180 from what it was last year. You know what I'm saying? But Pilot, because I know you may have to cut out soon. So Pilot, man, say your piece about what you thought of the card last night.
The card was a banger. I mean, the first fight was honestly one of the most exciting fights with Malim and was it Vidal?
Yeah,
that fight was dope as hell. I didn't expect that. I had a feeling the cards would have went the way it did, but that should have been safe for the PBC draw. And the Romero fight was kind of what I expected. Rolly, he's suspect, but he does have some crazy power. So.
Sure does.
The last fight, I mean, I'm sticking around. So last fight we can get.
Okay.
We don't have to rush it. So last fight, I'll let Shaw take the platform first for that one.
Oh man, yeah, the last fight. So, let's before we get into.
I mean, we're not gonna get into how much Raleigh sucks.
No, we definitely will, because I mean, but I definitely.
Let Pilot say it though.
Raleigh definitely. He's suspect. His defense is suspect.
Footwork.
His footwork's trash. His
Jab.
He don't got no jab, but he got that. He got a little bit. He got that power that sometimes can save the day. But obviously, I think everybody's waiting for him to get exposed, like he will be sooner or later.
I mean, Rolly. I think Rolly's already been exposed to a degree, but the problem is, either he gets saved by the PBC draw or the Floyd stimulus. I mean, I guess it's only been one fight so far that he's been saved by this win, a fight where he should have clearly lost. And
He looked like shit against a guy that hasn't fought in 2 years.
2 years, yeah. And the funny thing is too is I guess we'll go to that fight first before we go into Vidal and Alim. But yeah, like Rolly. Here and the fun things too is Yijit is not a power puncher, and like I said, like P said, he was off for 2 years or so, but Yijit was still catching him with some counters that were snapping his head back, like when Yijit was
body shots.
Yeah, the body shots too. Now, I have to say that Rolly does have a chin on him because, like I said, because he was getting his head snapped all the way the fuck back. So it wasn't like, I mean, he takes punches pretty well, but he gets hit too much. But then he just counters that by just throwing harder and fighting dirtier. That's the other thing. And I think the fighting dirty thing, that thing really came into play.
Yeah, was this a boxing match or an MMA match?
Nah, it was an Umbach stunt double fight. Thai Warrior. They're making a part 4.
Like it was real random that they actually brought up that that Rolly actually was like studied judo and shit like that. I was like, really?
They had to justify that nasty ass style he got. Yeah, my sister felt like he should have got DQ'd with all the elbows and shit he was throwing. Like she was pissed about that shit.
Yeah, that and the hip tosses and shit, and then and it's just like, and in fact, he has that stupid look on his face, like everything, like bro always looks like he's struggling with something, like it's just constant struggle. Like he has a big fucking head but a small face. That's like the perfect way to describe him. Like he's always looked like he's struggling to do something, even though he's not really struggling. He's just, he's just trying to throw punches as hard as he can, because in this case, Yijit couldn't take his power at all. And I mean, and I guess like I said, Rolly plays the natural villain, and he makes for good TV. That I will admit. Because like you can see the crowd just like he's naturally a heel. Like he's not like when you think of forced heels, you think of maybe a Floyd Mayweather, who Floyd had to actually force to had to like work to become hated. Rolly is just it's a natural thing, and on top of that, he talks shit too, which is even worse.
Yeah, he got that X-Pac heat, but I mean it's still like legitimate.
Yeah, it's legitimate too. It's like, and not saying, and again, like I was on the RG Twitter and whatnot, and I can see the fighters going in, Devin Haney going in, Tank going in, Clarissa Shields talking about, Rolly's trying to call out Tank. He should know better than that. Like there's something about him. His fellow fighters just do not like him at all. And I think it's just absolutely.
I mean, if he rubbed us the wrong way and we never met the dude, what you think about niggas who've been in the gym with him and see the struggle up close? Like you get a different sense of perspective that way.
Yeah, no, I definitely said, and especially Haney has his own relationship with Floyd, and so does Tank and whatnot. And I wouldn't doubt if both of them actually probably sparred with Rolly at some point, and they're like, they probably tell Floyd, "Hey, why you signed this struggle ass nigga like to this shit?" Like. And Floyd just probably shakes his head and, probably just like, I don't know.
Although I heard he busted up Ryan Garcia in sparring once, but.
Yeah, talk about someone who actually lives off the sparring session, or one sparring session, like, yeah, Ryan Garcia, and of course, Ryan Garcia, he has his own, he has his own complaints about and whatnot. But, yeah, Rolly is, I mean, everyone can agree that Rolly is probably a loss or a knockout waiting to happen. At some point,
make the Tank fight, and we'll see it happen.
Yeah, because especially, I mean, he said Tank's name loud and clear. And
I wouldn't mind that fight, man. Like, there's no pay-per-view, and if people fought more than twice a year, I feel like you can get that fight and another Tank fight. But it's already half the year, so.
Yeah, honestly, and I agree with you. Like, I would definitely love to see a Tank and Rolly fight. Because, like I said, I mean, Yijit could have outboxed him, but Yijit, unfortunately, is not that durable. Like, I mean, like I said, because when Rolly started landing his heat on him, like Yijit's face started falling apart, and then he eventually got more careless, and he eventually got knocked the fuck out. So it's but Yijit, like, still for a guy who was off 2 years, I mean, he still gave Rolly some suspect moments, but like I said, Yijit was just, it's unfortunate, he wasn't in the fight like that, but like I said, I mean, it still doesn't give people confidence that Rolly will go far. But hey, he still has his GameStop belt, and he's calling out Tank in there, and the crowd is just booing his ass, like you could boo. They can't you can't have. I don't think Rolly will ever be liked like that. But like I say, he's good TV and whatnot. But yeah, a Tank Rolly fight, don't put it on pay-per-view. And for my sake, don't mention any fucking interim belts, unless it's a legitimate one. Yeah, you can put that. That'll be a regular Showtime fight, and I'll fuck with it. I don't have no complaints about that shit.
Like just have a great co-main though.
Yeah, just have a great co-main. If you want, to do that, and like I said, that that shit will be gold. But yeah, if you probably put Roller on a pay-per-view, like I'm gonna talk a lot of shit about it. Like a lot.
The shit talking earlier will be good, but that's what's really gonna sell the fight. It might be a decent fight matchup, but I wouldn't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But yeah, Pilot, what you thought of the Aleem fight in Vidal?
Man, that fight was crazy. Like I didn't expect much out of it. I was trying to split screen watching basketball on that, but I had to put that full screen on out because for the Vidal fight, because that fight was just action packed and back and forth. Literally from like 2 to 10. I wish it was a 12 rounder because those boys were going at it. I mean, shit. I thought Elite probably should have won. That's one where, again, as I said earlier, could have been a draw, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. But I understand, the PBC prospect get out of jail card. Got played for my boy Varel.
I think it's more than that because remember, because right now we mentioned this before, like the biggest, probably the best talent evaluator in boxing today is Samson. And Samson, he's brought a lot of fighters, to prominence. And Vidal is one of them. So, and I think Al probably played the game where like, yeah, we can't have in the PBC. Al put money in him. Was like, yeah, we can't really have him losing to Aleem. And you're right, Pilot. Aleem, I thought, and Aleem, I'm high on. I was high, and I've done it. But honestly, I was worried that Aleem would not be able to take Vidal's power because Vidal can punch. But man, with the exception of the one body shot, which I was amazed that Aleem stood on his feet for, it didn't go down because he took a straight liver shot.
That was a hellacious body shot. Like,
yeah,
that reminded me of the Derbianchenko body shot he landed on the Golovkin. And Golovkin did that dance.
Yeah, that was the one where with Triple G was probably the rare times where Triple G was uncomfortable. And then the ref kind of got in the way.
That ref was trash that night. Jeez, but anyways.
Yeah, but Aleem, how I had to give it Aleem is teak tough. Like to take a body shot from clearly a guy who probably won't be long for 160 anyways. Like, dude looked like a fucking light heavyweight.
The dude took a crazy body shot and then like 2 overhand rights afterwards.
And didn't go down though. And the funny thing too is like it was later in the fight though where Aleem was starting to rock him, left hook. Yeah, that leaping left hook he hit him with on the ropes and then
Frasered his ass.
Yeah, I was like, yo, that might actually be the key, like because I was like, I mean, Aleem has decent pop, but I was like, if he lands more of those leaping left hooks, Vidal might have actually touched the canvas because. Yeah. But yeah, like that fight, and the funny thing too, the crowd was booing in the beginning, like they couldn't understand that, let the fight build. Like you see that size advantage. You see Aleem is a natural middleweight. Vidal is not. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta let.
Could have fooled me the way he was dishing them out and taking them.
He was, but Aleem fought a really disciplined fight. Like in the past, like Aleem used to be like throwing wild, and then eventually he would. He would walk into like a hard counter or would get countered repeatedly like he did in the Korobov fight, stuff
this is the best he looked since the damn Korobov. Well, ever really, because the Korobov fight, like I felt like he lost, but he made it real close in the second half and Korobov kind of faded, so I can't really get mad at that being a draw. Yeah, but he definitely made up for it. Like he's improved since the Korobov fight, and I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Vidal.
Yeah, like and like I mean, I truthfully I thought Aleem pulled it out. It out. Like I thought it was a clear win for him though. But yeah, the 97-93 for 2 of the judges was some bullshit.
Horrible,
horrible bullshit. Like there was no 97-93 in that fight. Like not at all.
Fight was too back and forth to have somebody up that much. Like, you want to say 96, 94, 95, 95, I get it. But 97, nah. Like, not even Aleem won that clearly.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, you can say, like, 96, 94 for Aleem. That's probably it, or 96, 95. You want to give a 10-10 round up in there or something like that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it was definitely none is 97, 93. And that's what killed me too. It was like, damn, Aleem took all that, went to war with a much bigger fighter just to get fucked like that. It was ridiculous. Like, I felt for him. Like, but like I said, Samson is the evaluator, and then Vidal is probably the prospect right now that Al's trying to get a ROI on. So it's like, it's the name of the game, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate.
But at least he was in a fight, though. Like, he needed that type of fight for his level, his progression. So
he did. Like, he learned, like, he just can't be mowing down everyone in 2 or 3 rounds. Yeah. But yeah,
sometimes it'd be the guy that you think you could knock out, be the last guy you would knock out. And we saw that with Berlanga's fight this year.
Yeah.
On the undercard of Navarrete.
Yeah.
And we saw it just, last night. You think these guys are going to get knocked out, but somehow, they fight above their head and they give it as good as they going to get. And especially Aleem.
Yeah, Aleem. Yeah, like I said, but now I'll say I think Aleem probably needs. I'll say Aleem deserves a soft touch. Like after going through that, like I want him to get his wins up, like that. Because like I said, the guy once held a GameStop belt, a legitimate GameStop belt. So it's like let him get back to that level. P, let me get your what are your thoughts on that fight?
I actually didn't see it live because I was working. I was actually working last night, so yeah, that's I gotta watch it again and then really give my thoughts on it. I only saw like bits and pieces, but I'm not gonna judge something off of only a couple rounds that I saw. So,
but eat the whole sandwich. You just can't take a few bites and be like, "Nah, this tastes like shit."
Yeah.
But were you at least impressed with the shit with the shit you did see?
I mean, shit looks live, so I mean, I mean, Aleem looks better than what he like before. When I saw him, I was like, actually looks better. Looks better last night. I'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. I watched the whole fight and saw that. So if you can only see glimpses, and you can see that. Then yeah, you definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I know me and Elby were talking about it, like it was like me and Elby were like I know Elby was like, it was about couple knockdowns away from being a legit fight of the year candidate.
Yeah. So, especially late in the fight. I'm like, oh, this heating up. Like
okay. Like, honestly, if both touch the canvas, I would definitely put that on the list of fight of the year candidates. And PBC definitely has already has a couple of them on there already, So.
PBC had the best fights so far this year. We're talking about like consistency, like
consistency fight for sure. Yeah, like I mean they like their cards like this year or on Showtime have been consistently like good.
I can't specify Showtime.
Yeah, well, although on Fox they're starting to, I think they've had the accidental good cards, and then they had last card, which was the 3 upsets in a row.
And wait, question: They were at middleweight, right?
Yeah, middleweight.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Vidal does not look like a fucking middleweight. I had to wait, what division is this? Because motherfucker looked way bigger than fucking 160.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, like that dude is not long for 160. I mean, I don't know how long he can continue.
Motherfucker could go all the way to cruiserweight.
They both seem big for 160, though. Definitely, that's like a 168 fight out there.
I don't think Aleem looked that big for 160. I always thought he looked like he was regular size, but Vidal looked like he was. He should be fighting fucking Zerto or some shit. Yeah, they were. He was that big, man. That's why I give Aleem all the credit for actually really lasting through that type of punishment. Oh, yep, salute.
Lasting and dishing it out, and that left hook he landed, god dog.
Yeah, he tried to put it away. And I got a comment from Henny God, man. Salute to the channel. Yes, sir. Salute, Henny.
Salute, Henny God.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that. So, but yeah, though that fight was excellent. And the crowd got its mind right after all that senseless booing. Like they finally realized, they got a quality fight. And it sucks though that in middleweight, it's usually the lower level fights at middleweight are the ones that that has their shit together. but we can't get the champions to get their shit together.
I mean, I feel like that's honestly kind of like anything up like above 154, like the fights that you look at that the normal viewers, like the casual viewers, look at and say, "Who?" are usually the fucking live fights. Like, what the fuck? It's always like that, fucking north of 154.
Right, and then pretty much, like, I mean, like I said, pretty much, I mean, like, two of the best fights that aired this year. I mean, of course, with Joe Smith and Vlasov, and then Apochi and Glanton. Like those aren't as known as those aren't the biggest names, but those were the best fights, by far. Like some of the best fights this year. So it's unfortunate it's that way, but hey, what if it gets extra eyes to the sport and like, oh, let me stick around, let me continue to watch the rest of this shit, then so be it. But yeah, that was an excellent fight. And then the Rolly, I mean, even though Rolly struggles, at least Rolly got rid of his opponent. There wasn't any bullshit, except for Rolly shit talking. And then let me jump ahead for what Rolly said. I mean, did you watch his post-fight conference, like after the card was done? Where he's talking about he compared Devin Haney to Amir Khan, saying like he was the
fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
I didn't really get that comparison.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Because it's shitty. That's the reason why. That's the reason why.
It's not that shitty.
Like Billy Dib and Ryan Garcia put together.
Bro, if Haney was Amir Khan, he would have been, got knocked out already. The fuck? Like, come on now. He's not that shitty, regardless of what you think of what his performance with Linares. He's not that fucking shitty. Calling him fucking Amir Khan is fuck out of here.
No, I don't think these guys watch enough boxing to like compare people to others, because like I don't see it in their styles or anything. Like Amir Khan and Devin Haney, like the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is just Rolly just being, the heel. Like I don't think he's trolling. He probably does believe that shit, but I think Rolly understands that people don't like him, so he says some shit like that, and then it gets people talking. What can I say? He's doing what he's supposed to because people want to see him get KO'd. He knows this.
That's ironic because Rolly kind of fights a little bit like the power version of Amir Khan, a little bit. Just he fights more like Khan than Haney does, in my opinion.
Chin up. But at least Khan got better footwork. Like I don't even see that. Like Amir Khan don't fight like none of these niggas. Yeah. If anything, the Devin Haney's last opponent was more like Amir Khan than anybody else.
Linares.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people used to make that comparison. Like I don't know what the fuck these little niggas be on. But yo, fuck that. Let's get to this main event, man.
Yes, sir.
I know niggas got the guns loaded for this one.
Yeah, of course, we got Jermell Charlo, the WBC, WBA, and IBF, super welterweight champion of the world versus Brian Castano, the WBO super welterweight champion. And we're all anticipating, the crowning of a new undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. And of course they went through the history, I think there's 5 previous ones. So and then 154, we all think highly of the division. So it was like, okay, this is going to be the culmination of all the fades and all the little, the trade-offs, the little, short title reigns of some of these fighters. And this was going to be it. You know what I'm saying? The person who won this one would definitely have a spot in the pound for pound list. The other one would just be like a really good fighter that came up short.
But I thought Jermell was already deserving of pound for pound.
Yeah, and like I said, I certainly think that, and I still think that. But this is the unfortunate thing with the Charlos, especially with Mel, that on the fights that really need him to be this way. Well, I'll excuse the Tony Harrison fight because I thought he won that fight and he was just robbed a little bit. He was robbed from that. That's my opinion. But this one this one felt a little different. And I
Castagna was actually, better, like, than Tony Harrison.
He's better than advertised too, but I think a lot of people just before this fight started, like we were all remarking how this fight had no type of buzz, like none. Like it had some hardcore buzz, like we talk about because we all know like what's at stake, but it didn't seem like the casuals caught onto this fight like at all.
Yeah, the last undisputed fight this year had no buzz.
Yeah, Yeah, because it was Taylor and then Ramirez because they don't really. Taylor's fan base doesn't. He doesn't have a fan base in America, even though he has beaten American fighters. And Ramirez has too many close calls with people he shouldn't have close calls with.
Fight should have still had more buzz. Should have been promoted better. At least there was an all access for this shit.
Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying?
So they tried, but still. But I'll say this. There's the divisions where we're getting undisputed fights have low-key been the best divisions in the sport for like the last 2 years.
That's also a fact. Yeah, absolutely.
So something is getting done right, regardless if the end-up fights, the climax fights are being promoted right or whatever. At least we get them. I give it that.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. Because like I said, we were all excited for this fight happening. And personally, I didn't think this fight would even happen immediately because it's always the Mandos that come into play. But they made that shit happen. Like, you know what? Yeah, they got 3 belts. Castano made went out across the street and got his belt like a real champion's supposed to. So I salute Castano. I'll always salute Castano for that because he did do that. And the fact that the fight was made ASAP, is a testament to everyone involved. Like everyone deserves, a round of applause. Yes, round of applause. So, this fight happening, and I think by the time the live fight came, the crowd was ready for it. They were pumped. Like the entrance, everyone came in, looking like they were serious and whatnot. And then the fight happened. So, LB, man, I'll let you start that shit off, man. What did you think, man?
Well, seeing that I was the only nigga who picked Castano to win, fight kind of went how I said it would go.
Whoa. Let's just be very, very, very clear. Let's just be very, very clear about this.
You know what? I forgot your name is LB. And you pick Castano to win, right?
Yeah, but to be very clear, let's not act like you weren't going back and forth for 5 minutes about it. It wasn't like you were puffing out your chest the whole time. So
okay, LB. Okay, chill, LB.
I just want to say that for the record.
No, but for the record, all that does is illustrate how close the actual fight really was.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I still said Castano win. So, regardless if it took me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes to pick him, I still picked the man to win. Pick the guy that y'all niggas end up thinking won anyway. So,
hey, I said the shit would be. At
least Pat was saying 115, 113, Charlo, close fight, da-da-da-da. Like, he the only other nigga who was even in the stratosphere of what I was talking about. So, for the record, I'll say again, let's reel it back. LB, what do you think about the fight? We'll start off with you. Well, like I said, since I was the only one who picked Castano to win, the fight went exactly how I said it would. And I said that on 2 different podcasts. Shout out Saluki Boxing.
Yes, sir.
I said if Charlo can't hurt this dude or if Castano can take his power, he's going to make it a long night for Charlo.
And he sure as fuck did make it a long night.
Exactly. Because Charlo can't win rounds.
Yeah. I've never heard of a lion, that gets backed up all the goddamn time. Seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's every single time. First of all, going to for a guy who actually does have footwork and can actually, box and and pump.
I said he would need to use that, didn't I?
You said to bring the old back, a little bit old. I don't know either Pat or one of y'all said he needs to bring.
I said if he fought more like he used to and use his footwork and kind of use a little bit of the new Charlo, like 60-40, he would win this fight easy.
Yeah, I said that too. I said that in my bars for when I made my prediction video. I said that shit too.
Oh yeah.
And he said it on the cast as well. Like
But the funny thing is too is Castano only threw 9 jabs in that fight. But to me, it just looked like one guy barely used his jab and was having trouble. The other one didn't have that much trouble and didn't use his jab, which is
he didn't have to.
Yeah, the dynamic was crazy.
It was funny because every time Charlo hit done, Charlo kept throwing back. Like after you could tell Charlo kind of got hurt, he would always try to just throw be like a little bit of wilder and just throw crazy. It was kind of weird.
The funny thing is too is like when Charlo got caught early on the ropes, like when Castano hit him with that left hook that kind of made him do a little step.
He was legit hurt that part. Fuck all that.
Yeah. Then after that, dude should have been like, okay, look, I gotta stay off this ropes, man, because this strong motherfucker is gonna kill me if I'm on the ropes. But instead, he kept on going back to the ropes over and over and over again. Every time he did it, he was catching work, with the exception of the 2 times where he landed the left hook counter. So, Charlo. And fun things too, I think Derek James was telling him some right shit, but this motherfucker was not listening either. That's the feeling that I had.
It's the frustration. I told the same thing happened in the Trout fight. The whole you're supposed to throw more punches, jab. I don't know. He's not getting knocked out when I try to. like that's how this nigga be sounding. Like, oh my god, it be disgusting sometimes, yo.
Yeah, it was really disgusting. And then the funny too, because I'm monitoring the Twitter right now, and I'm on there. And then people are like, "What the fuck? Yo, what is why is Castano beating Charlo up like this?" Like people were surprised. I'm like, people like Castano is a PBC fighter, guys. Like, have you not seen him actually fight? Like, that's what he does. Like, he's defensively responsible, and he's a volume puncher who connects a lot. So it's like, and Charlo unfortunately was supposed to show that different level. And instead, he kept on going to the ropes, getting clocked, getting lit up to the body, and it was just, and he refused to stay in the middle of the ring and just pump his jab. Refused. And then you have Castano off the visual, just walking him, stalking him back. And
smaller man too, less reach, less perceived power.
Yeah. Even though technically,
lighten this nigga up, lighten Charlo up.
Even though technically Castano's KO record is higher, but Castano doesn't have the KOs that Charlo has, obviously.
And he got half the fights, and he already in his first undisputed fight.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just like, you can tell, like, because Mel has a problem with like I said, he's not an emotional cat like his brother like that. But I think he
still is, dude. He still is.
But he's probably just more hard headed with it. Like he is like,
that
what?
Too.
Yeah, it's like
usually emotional niggas are hard headed.
Yeah, facts.
You could be hard headed and not emotional. Then you could be emotional and hard headed. Because I told y'all. Then I say Maul would eat a guy like Castano up. Castano's all wrong for Mel. But Maul is all wrong for Castano. Maul would have just walked Castano down and just overwhelmed him with power shots and kept throwing and throwing. Castano wouldn't probably win a round until like the 8th or 9th round. Mel is going to pick and choose and look and try to get the perfect shot and look cute. And then when that doesn't happen, he's going to start getting frustrated. He's going to start moving around and bullshit. And then it turns into the, hold on, I don't know, he's not being knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only throwing 18 punches around. Only one of them hurt him, but I can't get him out of there. Like, the frustration is real, man. Like,
Charlo was dropping them rounds like I think probably in the first half of the fight. I think maybe Charlo probably maybe 1-2 at the most.
Dude, I had this nigga losing 4-2 after the first 6 rounds. Yeah, Charlo won the 2nd round clearly, and I felt he won the 10th round clearly and the 12th round clearly. He only won 3 clear rounds in that fight to me that were like overwhelming, like for him.
I gave him 2 swing rounds, but yeah. So I agree with what you said. Those 3 rounds are definitely Charlo rounds.
Other than that, he was getting outworked, and then he won maybe like 2 swing rounds. You could give him 5 rounds. You reach a little, you could give him 6, and I'm cool with that, but no way he won the fight. You can't give him 7 rounds. Can't give him 8 rounds, 9 rounds, whatever the fuck the damn 117, 111.
Nah, 9 is way too much. I do think that there were rounds that I felt like you could have given to Charlo because Castano would do he would kind of do the thing where he would get those 20-second flurries, and I'm like, I'm not inclined to give him the round just off of those 20 seconds. You don't steal rounds to me like that. So
yeah, but those flurries and shit.
Go ahead, LB.
Oh no, finish, Pilot. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I agree with Pete. Like, some of those rounds, Castano kind of quote unquote stole them by just going ham in the last 10, 15, 20 seconds of the rounds. Well, that Charlo was winning those rounds, but
that's what I'm saying.
Was landing those shots.
Those flurries were landing. And a lot of times, Charlo punches weren't accurate as people try to make it seem. A lot of times, and I mentioned this, Castano knows how to take a little step back, and Charlo's punches were hitting gloves and getting parried.
But they were keeping him at bay, so he's controlling the fight if he's just keeping him at bay and not letting Castano get his natural work rate at. I'm just saying in those specific rounds, just those specific rounds that I'm talking about. Overall,
you control somebody without landing that much. Then a guy says "fuck it," and then he starts landing on you in the last 20 seconds. He starts firing your ass up. I'm gonna give it to the nigga who was firing your ass up.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. That's just 20 seconds. Like when you did nothing really.
Didn't you score this fight 116, 112? So you did that a lot, actually.
What?
Didn't you have Castano winning 116, 112?
115, 113.
Oh, okay. You had to do it enough then.
But that was I'm only speaking the swing rounds that I gave to Charlo. For the most part, he was putting in work, at least in most of the rounds, controlling for at least a minute. I'm just speaking on those specific rounds. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, but I felt like Castano's flurries were more effective than Charlo's. Let me push you back a little bit without really landing anything big.
And also, I think another part that played into it was because Castano was still getting hit, but with hard shots. But and there were times where in the 8th round, Castano was hurt, but he was doing a very good job of masking it and recovering very quickly that people didn't notice it. But I'm like, dude, he's hurt. He's definitely hurt. You can't hide that. But that definitely played a role.
I will say, Castano, I don't think he recovers that fast because especially in the 10th round where looked like he was about to be put out. It still took him a little bit to get his shit together after that. He doesn't recover that fast.
He's hard.
He gets incredibly hard. But the worst thing was Charlo went back to doing his bullshit. He just still went back. He still got walked down, even though the guy was hurting. And and didn't throw no type of heat, nothing.
Yeah, the 11th round was a perfect example of that. He did nothing the 11th round.
Castano went and took the 11th round. So all you idiots was he swept the last 3 rounds. No, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that he definitely didn't sweep He didn't win round 9, and he didn't win round 9, and he didn't win round 11. So no, he didn't sweep the last 4 rounds.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that was frustrating because you could see people just like we talked about in the Charlo Montiel fight. You can see people not really happy. I know Errol Spence wasn't really happy watching this shit. They showed a close with him.
Damn, he was Texas struggling. Are we gonna see struggle with Pacquiao?
Yeah,
Spence got all this pressure now.
Yeah, Spencer gonna be like, man, I gotta get rid of this little Filipino fighter, man. I can't let a 42-year-old Filipino put me out of there and take my 0. The Charlos both had, even though at least Maul won, but he didn't win good because of the type of opponent that he was facing.
Yeah, he didn't look impressive, but Maul won cleanly, clearly. Yeah, he just wasn't impressive. There's a difference between that.
But for Mel, it's worse because, like I said, like we mentioned before, Mel's trying to get, for most part, Mel's been campaigning. He's actually brought up for pound recognition. This was the thing that, it was the thing that it was bothering him, and he brought up. It was like, you know what, after this fight, I'm going to be pound for pound. Y'all can't deny me. You keep denying me. And then, unfortunately, even though I still think he's still pound for pound, he still deserves to be on the list. there's now this fight will just generate arguments on why he shouldn't be, like at all. And it's all his doing. Like, I mean, it's not like, a messed up judge, like, or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, he didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, but my thing is, niggas is grandfathered on these damn pound for pound lists for fighting Lundy and the Postols and the Delormes and the Gamboas of the world. Never fought anybody as good as fucking Castano, and they get to say that. Terrence Crawford.
I mean, that's a semantic. I mean, Terrence Crawford threw some shade, though.
That ain't no semantic. That shit's the truth, though. Who has Crawford fought on the level of Brian Castano? And no, Postal is not on the same level of fucking Castano.
Well, yeah.
You're not gonna tell me I don't see the same talent and skill level when I look at Postal and then I look at Castano. Sorry, Brad.
How about young Gamboa? No? Early Gamboa, no?
Early Gamboa. I mean, like I said, I mean, people. Yeah, I mean, Gamboa is
early Gamboa that was undersized and was pretty much was the lamb to slaughter for this nigga. Remember, Gamboa wasn't lighting people on fire before leading up to that fight.
No, he wasn't.
Still a good win, but come on.
Like, but Crawford shade though was hilarious because he said, "I've been gone for a minute, but Twin Charlo last night is the reason why you're not on the pound for pound list, sir. Got to do better." Like that was see, like
he called him sir.
That's some whole shit. Like nigga, you gotta do better. Your last fight was Kell Brook, nigga. Like how can you talk about anybody? This is like the niggas who used to fucking fighting on ESPN Friday Night Fights and then turn around and be like, man, De La Hoya struggled with so-and-so. De La Hoya struggled. I'm like, yeah, but De La Hoya struggling with motherfucking Ike Corte, Pernell Whitaker, Trinidad, Shane Mosley. You up here damn going life and death with fucking Scott Pemberton, nigga. Like, there's levels to this shit. Like,
no,
you getting it's like one nigga got their college education through a fucking scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, his father built the institute and he makes donations and that nigga gets the scholarship. You on the other hand had to take the SAT, ACT, BCT, EC, all the other shit. And then you fail one test and the motherfucker's like, well, you gotta do better. And you're like, this nigga. Nigga, your mom and dad make donations to this motherfucker. Like, they own the fucking gymnasium and you telling me I gotta do better when I had to fucking get it out of the mud? Horrible tweet from Crawford.
But it was funny too because I was like, yo, it's like just the fact like the shade, like and he had been firing back too. Like some people were like, they agree with it. Some people were like kind of firing back on them about that though. But yeah,
it's the bullshit take. Like,
Crawford had time today.
He need that, he got time to re-sign the top rank contract so he could fight another bunch of jobbers for the next 5 years and still be pound for pound. Like, come on. Like, I felt low-key disrespected by damn self just reading that tweet. Like, this nigga. Beat up the fucking remains of Kell Brook. Like, Kell Brook had, like, no eyes when you beat him. And it's like, you got the nerve to be talking shit? Like, fuck out of here.
And I mean, boxers.
Pacquiao taking your word from you.
Yeah, and of course, let Pacquiao. Well, of course, Pacquiao beat Spence. I mean, Pacquiao's not going to be like Crawford, this. But I'm pretty sure people will bring that up. That you.
And who's going to care? Nah. Let Crawford fight fucking Jamal James or one of these other mid niggas. That's a better fight than the fucking Amir Khans and Kell Brooks he been fighting.
That's also true. Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. And when you got niggas on the platform justifying this shit with Postol is the same level as Castano. Okay, like I just read it all at that point. Like, I'm good. Yeah, next thing you know, niggas gonna be telling me fucking Joe Messi's on the same level of Tommy Morrison just because they both white.
Like I say, like boxing Twitter, man, is hilarious when shit like this happens, and unfortunately with Charlo too. Jamel already rubbed people the wrong way with what happened in the Deontay Wilder shit. So not a lot of people are caping for him in the guard.
Did he fight like Wilder 2.0?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yo, like, he's coming to the point. Boxers, just shut the fuck up and mind your business.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't even worry about nobody else right now. Like, until you start putting on performances and beating everybody's ass and asking for smoke, like, you know, when JoJo Diaz said his shit last week, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's how you supposed to be. But if you're not doing that shit consistently, like, I'm good. Like, save all the shit talking and the tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good. I don't need to hear this shit. You ain't gonna try to convince me and say, yo, you know, Hank Lundy's a top such and such fighter for, you know, a win, or Delorme is the next coming to Trinidad for Crawford. Like, I'm good.
Well, I mean, I'm on. I like for Delorme. I mix because now Delorme's been fighting on PBC cards. Like I said, like you know, and you have some fighters that Heyman fights that were struggling with him too. I was like, yeah, you know, including the current WBA welterweight champion Ugas. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to, do a little bit more proving, for me on that aspect. We're gonna do it because Delorme's stock has actually kind of risen since the Crawford fight.
It has, but no one's trying to put him on a higher level. Like, I'm not gonna boost these guys up to make Crawford look better. Like, Crawford should have been stepped it up by now.
Right, and then unfortunately for Charlo, this has been a quote unquote step up fight, and then and then what makes the fuckery complete is the scores. First score was a 114-113 for Castaño, which of course that's a 114-113 score does not happen unless there was a knockdown of some sort or a point deduction. And then of course we found out later that one judge scored the 10th round, the round that Castaño nearly got knocked out in, and was getting knocked around in a 10-8 round.
I thought because originally I thought, well, does that mean that maybe he scored a 10-10 somewhere? And then I'm like, oh, maybe he just did it 10-8 for the 10th round.
They was looking to give. They're so used to seeing a knockout or a knockdown from Charlo. They just said, you know what, fuck it. That was one of those. If you play the fight in slow motion on a Tuesday with the Dipset Volume 1 disc in the CD player, and you got some grits on the stove and it's raining, you'll see the knockdown in round 10.
Yeah, and the worst. Yeah, it was just awful too, because I have a feeling like had Charlo been able to score a knockdown of some sort, he probably would have won the fight.
I would shut the fuck up, or at least the draw would feel more justified.
Right, but then after afterwards, the second card was from Judge Nelson Vasquez, who turned in a score of 117-111 for Charlo, which was just absolute bullshit.
He related the Adelaide Bird.
Yeah, he got the Adelaide Bird shit, man. That was,
I was like, yo, what the fuck?
It's always, it's not even the robbery. It's always that one card that ruins a fucking good fight. You know what I'm saying? For these,
it was I was like, one second, I was like, yo, I was like, there was no 9-3 for Charlo, like not even a little bit. Like, I mean, like that shit was just so that shit wasn't even in the same.
Them scorecards are filled out before the fight, bro.
Right. And then the second one was 114-114, which makes it a split draw.
Yo, was this Klitschko versus Brewster? Like, in these 10-8 rounds? Like, I didn't see no type of ass whooping in a round where I'm like, oh my God, like, that's 10-8 round. Like, but maybe I've been desensitized to violence and good fucking back and forth action, and when someone really hurt somebody, like niggas was really bending over backward to give them 10-8 rounds.
I'm saying, like, because they were probably thinking, like, I don't know if someone tried calling like, okay, we need to call in a PBC favor, like I said, Charles about to lose, we can't have him losing, like, we can't. And funny thing is, Castaño's not like he was scared off of the belts like that, because he's a PBC, but he's a Heyman fighter too, so he wasn't like he was gonna take them belts anywhere.
But it's the more upside, even though they don't even promote Charlo as much as he should be, because Charlo will be a bigger star if he fought more often and was strategically placed on better cards, but he's always going to be like that mid-level star for boxing. Like, if you know boxing on a casual level, you'll know about the Charlos, but he should be bigger than a Victor Ortiz was when he was doing it.
Right, and I'm just taking a look at Tim Cheatham's card, the one who scored the fight a draw. So basically, he had Charlo winning the last 3 rounds, which he needed to secure that draw.
Trash.
Yeah, he had to. Yeah. That was it. The 10th round, he should have went for the kill. He should do an uppercut. That 10th round,
he didn't throw no type of uppercuts. Like
not one uppercut. Jamal wouldn't have won a whole fight without throwing an uppercut.
Damn right.
The only thing he was doing was just trying to land a left hook counter. Like he would wait for him to get wild and try to land a counter, and then
the uppercut was there too. That's the funny part.
When he had him hurt, right? When he had him hurt in that 10th, like the last minute and a half of that 3rd round. I mean, that 10th round. God.
Yeah, he was just winging shots. Like he was winging some wilder shots. Like.
Yeah, dude. Dude was literally like throwing the whole kitchen sink at dude, and it's like you didn't get nowhere. Like bro, still like survived it. So, all right. Let me ask y'all this thing, so we can wrap it up real quick.
Yep.
If it could happen, and it's a big if we can even say if it's in a perfect world. Would you want to see a rematch later this year? I'm not saying nothing about Tazoo and all them niggas.
Yes. That's a dumb question. No offense.
Nah, it's not a dumb question. The reason why I say it's not a dumb question because if we know boxing history, usually the guy who fights above his head and wins the first fight and gets robbed, the guy in the second fight who lost the first fight, he makes an adjustment and he wins, and then everybody forgets about the robbery for the first fight.
Yeah.
James Tony, Samuel Peter. Like, this has just written all over it. Because Charlo just has to make a couple adjustments and he could beat Castaño. Matter of fact, if they pick the rematch, I might even pick Charlo for the rematch.
As would I.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just taking a look at the comments from Jay Lewis. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I concur. Yes, Jay Lewis agrees, and therefore I agree. Yes, definitely.
I mean, I feel you. I would love to see the fight again, but if it doesn't happen, I won't feel away because I felt Castaño was the better fighter for that night, and
I also don't like
he would get fucked over the next fight.
I don't like this narrative. Well, Castaño fought over his head, or maybe he just showed that he's at that level. Like,
right.
The reason why I say that because he's the underdog. Y'all niggas ain't pick him for a reason. What the fuck?
Well, like I said, Castaño. I picked him. I didn't pick him for a reason, but I said it was going to be a close fight. But
at least Pat acknowledged it would be y'all was calling knockouts.
Yeah,
now, I did
to be fair, I said it would be before the knockout. It would be a Spence Porter type fight. That's what I said. So it wasn't like it wasn't going to be a close fight. Like it was going to be.
It wasn't even a fucking Spence Porter fight. Like
yeah, but you got what I meant though. Like whether it turned out or not. Like.
Yeah, but the one thing I also didn't like too is Charlo was kind of a little lackadaisical. I was like, oh yeah, I need to go spend some time with my family and shit like that. Like he was.
Yeah, he don't sound like he wants that.
And usually
a guy who fights once a year does not want to fight twice a year. If he has to spend more time with his family, how am I so surprised?
Yeah, like dude, like before, usually if dude would be barking like lions only and that type of shit. Like, but dude was just like, well,
kittens only, nigga.
But then he was like, it was a tough fight. I'll give him credit, but I still think I won the fight. But yeah, I gotta spend some time with my family.
That lion got tamed, yo.
Yeah, facts.
He got tamed with some damn pressure fighting.
You know what I'm saying?
And some good old ring cutoffs. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't mind if there's a rematch, but if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna just be like, okay,
Honestly, if Brian Castaño wanted to call himself the ringmaster, like in a circus, I would support that nickname.
The ringmaster. You low-key had me thinking about that 80s movie back in the day with Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Fucking Brian Beastmaster Castaño.
Like I'd put respect on his name, and I would repeat it too, over and over again. Like because he kind of earned that nickname.
He did.
You know what I'm saying?
My pops told me, "Yo, Jay, never let someone smaller than you, shorter than you, beat you in a fight." And that's all I could think about in that damn fight last night. Like, damn, I could not let no little nigga beat me. Like, you need to, man. I don't care if you got to pick up a desk and throw it at them. You do not let them beat you. And I guess for Charlo, that desk would have been an uppercut. So
absolutely. So I mean, with Charlo, obviously, we don't know what. He's probably gonna be on some bullshit. With Castaño, I know the WBO probably has a mandatory looming, and Tim Zhu immediately got to Twitter and was like, "Yeah, great fight, congratulations." But yeah, I'm up next. That type of shit. So I mean,
that's another fight of the year, so I'm not mad.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't get the rematch between these two, hell yeah, Tim Zhu, I want to see. I want because
we never got Charlo Hurd. I'll live.
Yeah. But yeah, Castano and Zhu, Zhu who has bricks in his hands, and and we have Castano who's a volume puncher, who's defensively responsible, who doesn't mind wading in on people, and Zhu's already a big cat for 154, so it's not like give us that fight, WBO.
Give me some Klitschko action. Let Castano move up to 160 and fight Jamal.
Yeah.
Fucking do. Or let if Spence beats Pacquiao, move up and fight Castano. Get that amateur payback. Like, there's a lot of storylines that can go in this fight, so I'm here for it.
Absolutely, we're all here for it. Yeah. 154 is still the quality division, and people now learn. So people you got to put respect to Castano's name. Castano is not just your regular. Some people like to say Euro bum, all types of stuff because he's not an American. But like I said, some of these non-American fighters, they really about the shits. Like, this is a new day. Y'all got to change your mind states about this. Like, they be putting in some work. Some people really be fine. They really be hungry. So like y'all gotta be careful who you label as that.
But y'all want to talk about that the Juggernaut fight next week before we close it out? Are y'all good or what's up?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could definitely talk about Joe Joyce and Carlos Takam. But yeah. See, unfortunately, next weekend we would be talking about Wilder and Fury 3, but unfortunately we mentioned the fuckery what happened last week between those two. So really, the only real notable fight for next weekend is Joe Joyce and Carlos Takam, because Joe Joyce, he's still fresh off his career best victory over Daniel Dubois. He busted his eye, broke bones in his eye, all types of stuff. Off 10 rounds of jabbing. So don't ever say that jabs are non-essential and you're a stat pattern or any bullshit.
Jamel Charlo.
Well, all jabs are not created equal.
Right.
That slow ass Joe Joyce jab. Jeez.
Yes.
I feel like you could run around the ring in circles for 3 seconds and come back and still slip his jab.
Right, but for some reason that jab landed, that was that, because Joe Joyce is half Nigerian anyway, so that was the fufu jab. So
Dubois wasn't fucking ducking, wasn't slipping or doing anything.
Yeah, no, he was just taking that shit, which is a huge feeling on his fundamentals, and that's just a slow jab.
So it makes you appreciate real pressure fighters who know how to slip punches, block, parry, and not get beat up by fucking jabs.
Exactly. Have their careers threatened by injuries inflicted by jabs.
A fucking jab, like
you know what I'm saying? You gotta get it together, man. And Joe Joyce now originally, he was in negotiations to fight Usyk. It was bid for the interim WBO heavyweight title because they were trying to make Joshua and Fury for all the belts, and then that would have been. Which I was anticipating. I wanted that more than a fucking Wilder rematch with Fury. That's for damn sure. But unfortunately, the law just, decided that Wilder was owed a third shot, and then we are worse for it as fans. So yes, Joe Joyce as consolation, he got Carlos Takam. Now, Carlos Takam is obviously he's seen better days, but he's on a 4-fight winning streak so far after getting brutally knocked out by Chisora. I'm talking about brutally. So,
in a fight of the year candidate.
Fight of the year candidate.
Yeah, let's say that it wasn't just like he and Malik Scott him or something.
Yeah, no. It was a legit fight of the year candidate, and Chisora scores a brutal knockout of Takam. So. Yeah, Takam was on the ground looking like he had birds spinning around his head. That's how messed up he was from that knockout. But hey, he recovered. He has a nice 4th-fight win streak. So I guess like I said, this will most likely probably be Takam's real last chance to actually get to try to get some momentum going towards another title shot. So. Yeah, Joe Joyce calls to come. So LB, man, what do you think about this? How do you see this fight going?
Juggernaut by KO. Maybe 8 rounds, 7 rounds. In a good fight though. The Calm, he always gives a good account of himself. But Joe Joyce is just a higher pedigree. He's like a wall that punches at you.
Yeah, he is. Like, dude, just and funny thing too is like when you watch, I guess when you watch him in the World Series of boxing fights, he had, he's probably like maybe 30 pounds less. He's a lot more defined. He moves a lot more. He moves a lot better. But then he also seems he doesn't take punches as well. I mean, obviously with the aforementioned Usyk fight, where Usyk is pretty much, painting a masterpiece on his face, and in the ring in general. So it's just like you see him now, and dude is just like immovable object. I am the juggernaut, bitch. Moving forward, it's interesting, and yeah, I personally don't. Takam is not the most durable fighter these days. Dude has suffered some hellacious knockouts though, and although Takam can punch though, but I think Joe Joyce is just gonna walk right through him. It's like he's been doing with everyone else.
With everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if Dubois can punch, and he walked right through that.
But Dubois wasn't fighting the right fight though either. Like
he was not. No, and Stavern was lighting him up at times. Walked right through him. Like
and Stavern, he was just waiting for them Charlo left hook counters.
Exactly.
You can take that, then it's over.
Yeah, I know. BY was throwing everything at him too. Couldn't really dent him, and then then there was the low blows that started happening. Yeah, Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is a big dude, like 6'6", 260 pounds, give or take. Yeah, like I mean, but the only knock against Joe Joyce is he's 35 years old. So it's like, I mean, it's now or never with him. Like, dude has to. Like, I mean, Takam, obviously, like, he beats Takam, then they need to, like, try to, figure out the title shit out. But, yeah, I mean, I do think...
It's a good stay busy fight, though. It's a quality stay busy fight.
It is. Pilot, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm similar to LB. I think Joyce will get him out there mid-rounds. We might see uppercut season return. I don't know, the Daniel Dubois fight proved to me a lot. I thought Joe Joyce was a little not suspect, but I thought he was, he's average. I mean, he's decent. But he's shown he's older. He's definitely a solid, one of the better heavyweights we have. So
he is.
I think this is Takam's last hurrah, but this will be taking him out like Gold Yeller, and Joyce will probably get him out of there before 7 or 8.
Yeah. That's probably later than what I'm thinking. ALP, what about you?
Joyce gets him out of there in 6. Takam is over the hill, like done, washed.
Okay, so we got 6, and then Pilot says 7. LB, what about you? What round are you thinking?
Yeah, I know I said 7 or 8. Maybe 7 rounds. Yeah, I think I'll go with 7.
For some reason, I'm thinking that Joe just gets him out of there like by round 4. Like I'm seeing, and mostly because I think Takam's punch resistance is just not where it needs to be, and Joe Joyce
he's on a little streak. He might. Because Joe Joyce don't really fight with a super urgency. It's more like if you can't take
it. He don't.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just fights at his own pace. That's the thing. Yeah. But it works for him.
It does.
Yeah.
So I would say 7 rounds. It really shouldn't go past 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just kind of like that. What's that fight we had the other with what's the dude who ain't fight nobody for like ever?
Oh boy,
the Mexican nigga. Zerto.
Zerto.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like we all, we put a cap on the fight. Like, okay, look, you can't go past 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's for this fight. I think Joe Joyce, he's been sparring or working with that one UFC big heavyweight. I can't pronounce his name.
Francis Ngannou?
Maybe Ngannou?
Yeah, he the underpaid big nigga.
That's everyone in the UFC.
Yeah, like, I'm like, if you hanging tough with him, I know, that's, UFC, but, if you even just sparring and doing work with a guy like that, you don't, you getting good work.
Yeah, you definitely got to find some good work, especially for big heavyweights. I mean, Takam is not a small man himself. He's like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 230 something pounds. So, he's he's a pretty sizable guy. But I mean, like I said, I'm still sticking to I think it's gonna be a 4-round knockout. You guys are saying 7 and 8. 2 7s and 1 8.
No, I said 6.
Oh, 6.
Yeah, he said 6.
I think 5. Thinking about it, I'm thinking I was gonna say 6, but I don't want to take Pete's answer, so I'm gonna rock with 5.
Okay.
Damn. So we're like, all right. So 5, 6, 7, and
4.
Pat, what's you?
4, 5, 6, 7. I think 4.
5.
Yeah, I'm about to say CeeLo and Head Crack. If someone
the Cool G rap song, like
it's like Head Crack.
So if it goes 8, then he gets all the smoke. Then
I hereby declare round 8 is the cap off for smoke. If this fight goes around 8, he's getting smoked. If it not, okay, we'll let him off the hook.
It depends. Like if it's 8 rounds, but Takam's getting the shit beaten out of him, but somehow still hanging in there. Then I'm just like, okay, maybe the ref in the corner is failing him.
Yeah.
But
I see Takam at least making a decent account of himself. Though. I just don't see him getting this beat up like that at first, because Joe Joyce is a guy where you could hit him, and you'll catch him. You'll probably put hands on him, but it's just one of those. You hit a wall enough, it might fall on you.
Yeah, like Takam, he's in his 5 losses, he has 3 knockouts, and in every one of those knockouts, I mean, the Povetkin knockout is brutal as fuck. There's no question about that. But he still made a good.
One Povetkin knockout isn't brutal as fuck. First of all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He
got some of the worst knockouts in like heavyweight, like the recent history, like recent heavyweight like times.
Yeah, brutal knockout. And then the Joshua knockout, I mean, it was a TKO, and like truthfully, it's not one of Joshua's better knockouts or highlights, but it's one of those.
He made up for it with the damn Povetkin fight, though.
He did, and then the aforementioned Chisora knockout, which it was a fight of the year brawl, and ended just brutal fashion. It was.
Yeah, we was getting fight of the years in every division that year, though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
good boxing.
Yeah, so it's definitely like the last stuff to come, like in terms of him being an actual contender, because he's 40 years old. I mean, there's not much. I mean, I know heavyweights, they have a hard time like removing some of the past like generations in that division.
Anthony Ruiz.
Yeah.
Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
Y'all lose. Y'all go in life and death with dudes Klitschko beat in their primes.
I'm saying, or David
Hay. Klitschko.
Yeah. So, or David Hay beat clearly in their primes. Like, nah, y'all got to get it together.
See, at least the David Hay don't feel as bad because at least that's a little more recent. Like, David Hay retired a couple years ago, but like Vitali been gone for like a minute now.
Exactly.
Shout outs to both of them, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So this head crack, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah, there's 7 though. There's a 7 in there.
Oh shit, niggas got the whole cap off. That'll be like the stretch of bets right there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah,
so like I said, if it ends before 4, then like okay, Joyce is not fucking around no more. If it ends after 8, but there's a knockout, then like okay, then we have to judge it just based on how the fight goes. If it goes a distance, then then we have to see what the hell Joyce needs to do.
Yeah, then I get my Larry Merchant voice on and be like, "You got some splaining to do."
Yeah.
So that means you got to knock out Usyk the next time, and then we'll be like, "You did some splaining."
Okay, right?
No, I swear he killed me in that damn Devin Alexander Matisse fight. Oh shit! Damn, man, so boxing is like, how can you not love boxing?
Yeah, no, boxing. I love boxing. I love talking about it. I love watching it. Boxing is key.
Love doing it. It's the greatest sport ever.
It is, it certainly is. Boxing, I don't understand how people cannot like boxing. Boxing is the shit. When you can enjoy it on a level like this, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Actually, man, boxing. I look forward to boxing so much at the end of the week when there's a great fight.
Absolutely. And it's a shame though that the Wild and Fury, the shit got moved, and because fuck that fight though, but the undercard though was what I was looking forward to anyways.
There you go.
Yeah,
that undercard was going to be epic.
But at least though we did get word that the undercard is going to remain intact, so it's not going to be broken up. So it
better be shit. No trailer bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be intact for October 9th, which is the new date for that. Just let just so everyone that was
Triller separated them damn undercard bouts like the fucking Dragon Balls.
Well, hopefully they can replace it for something better. I'm all for what they're doing, but but the main fight needs to have a better card. Excuse me.
Let's get that George St. Pierre, Oscar De La Hoya fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Because other than that, I don't. They need to get this shit over with, and so this division is not being held up anymore.
Let me see Pat versus the LDBC nigga. Like I'm good. I'm promoting that shit heavy. Yeah. We got the Nigerian assassin come here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. I'm gonna be doing little cut up videos of the damn mitts. Like, yeah. Damn. Nothing else really been happening in boxing before we close this out. Shout outs to Jake Paul for creating a better pay-per-view card than a lot of other damn top level boxers be doing when given the opportunity.
Right?
Is Serrano on the undercard?
Yeah.
He's the co-main.
Serrano and Charles Conwell.
Yeah. And also just mention Montana Love because he's another welterweight prospect over there. So I definitely got to mention him as well.
Dude, legit putting people on that deserve to be put on. Like, how can you hate Jake Paul? Like,
Jake Paul. Go ahead, Pilot.
It's mainly the MMA fanboys that seem to just hate on him somewhat. I don't know. I feel like a lot of boxing heads don't really hate. There are obviously some pure.
Boxers be hating on his ass
too. Boxers be hating him too. But I
think more MMA guys, like you said, though.
Yeah,
because he's been ripping Dana White and saying pay your fighters, and they don't want to hear that.
And on top of that, he's knocked out. He's knocking out MMA fighters in the ring. Like he just knocked out a notable, although past his prime and probably like half retired MMA fighter. So it's like
MMA fighter that was never a puncher.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, this is the thing. If you have fighting experience, whether it was in kicking, punching, wrestling, judo, I don't give a fuck. Just to have fighting experience, you still should be able to beat a guy like Jake Paul, though.
Nope.
Yeah, and the fact that it happens, like, because unfortunately, there's a lot of sensitivity, between MMA fighters, MMA fans, and boxer fans, because MMA fans stay with the boxing only uses your hands. They use everything, but the fact that Jake Paul, who's not really Jake Paul doesn't have the reputation as being a legit boxer because right now he's.
That's what I'm saying. Is that Jake Paul literally probably walked into a boxing gym 3-4 years ago, as opposed to a guy like Askren, who's been in gyms and training and fighting for years.
Yeah, and
does that account for anything? Like.
No, not when it comes to boxing. Because if you don't know how to punch, you don't know how to punch. No, those MMA fighters.
It should account for something if you're fighting a novice level boxer. No one's saying he's supposed to knock out fucking damn Gary Russell or somebody.
Right.
But they're not training.
He's not fighting a blue chip fucking prospect. They're not training with 3 fights.
But they're not training in boxing, and their striking
it don't matter. I'm talking about
does. Yes, it does. But
at that level is not the biggest fucking nah. No one could convince me that shit matters like that at that level.
I don't care. I want to see that Woodley fight though. Woodley Paul. I mean, I'm interested. I want to see how that goes because that's. I mean, that card sounds good, but
yeah,
okay. If Jake Paul knocks out Woodley, are we gonna say the same thing?
What?
I already said I already said like Paul's gonna get Woodley out of there in one. That's just he's not.
Yeah, I still see. I agree with Pat. Like,
Woodley
he's gonna get him out of there early.
Yeah, Woodley is gone in one. So
that shit. The cap on that is like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I know Jake Paul mentioned about the first round, then he said taking him into deep waters. I'm like, deep waters got to be 3 rounds.
Yeah. Because if Paul goes deep waters, then his cardio will get tested. So I mean, he might not want that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it like, what are you doing in the gym? If like, are we saying the first time Askren ever fucking had to deal with somebody punching at him was the Jake Paul fight?
Yeah,
I mean, but they don't know how to it's different striking. Their striking is not the same as boxing. They don't know how to punch properly.
Of course not. But there's niggas it was Woodley's problem.
Well,
all the niggas he knocked out probably say, well, you know what, he knocked me out, but he didn't punch me properly, but it hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
I ain't making excuses for these niggas, man.
It's different. I'm saying I'll take somebody that's been boxing for 2 years over somebody in MMA that doesn't know how to strike, doesn't know how to actually properly punch.
Okay, but you gotta finish the comparison. The person in MMA who doesn't know how to strike properly has been fighting for 20 years.
If he doesn't know how to strike properly, it doesn't matter.
Then what the fuck is he doing fighting for 20 years then?
He's fighting in something different. He's fighting in a different department.
It don't matter. A fight is a fucking fight.
It does not. It does matter.
And not at that level. We're not comparing. You act like we're bringing this man to fight the damn reincarnation of fucking Francisco Pachito Bajado or somebody.
Oh Lord.
I mean, but it's telling though that in the 3 fights that Jake Paul had, the one that probably fought him the hardest or the best is a fucking other YouTuber, not Nate
exactly.
Askren. Like, that's fucking ridiculous to me. Not Nate Robinson was a given because Nate Robinson, exposed how the limited people really know about the fight game. But a YouTuber, YouTubers should not have a better performance against Jake Paul than the fucking professional fighter that's been fighting for like 20 years. Like, no, that's unacceptable.
I mean, at this point, that YouTuber will probably beat Askren then.
Shit, that YouTuber will probably have a pro victory support.
If we go that far, like, goddamn, like, what's the point of fucking even fighting if a nigga with Jake Paul experience is piecing you up in boxing and you and you're fucking losing to that? Like,
it's not boxing because it's
promos.
Yeah,
it's different. It's different. It's different. It's different when you know how to punch. Like,
dude, you got fucking boxers who don't know how to fucking punch.
That's why I'm saying it's like putting a guy in a street fight that's been street fighting for years and then putting them up against a guy that's only been boxing for a year. I'll take the guy who's been boxing for a year that actually knows how to properly punch.
Yeah, that's different though. The street fighter ain't fucking fighting. Ain't no control them. Like, that's different. What the fuck? You're talking about a pro fight, dude. Even the MMA guy for fighting 20 years should beat the street fighter.
But unfortunately, it just was not the case with Askren. Askren pretty much like, you know what? I'm getting $500,000 plus whatever side deal they have. Let me just get clocked one time, and I'm good. And I can go back to stuffing my face.
And the fact that because everybody said, like, everybody was like, well, he's not going to knock Askren out because Askren has a great chin and he's been punched.
That was the shit that was
that was that bullshit.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying it's different when you're dealing with somebody who can actually prop.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was the shit that was absolutely killing me. I was like, yo, like just because he took a flying knee to the fucking grill doesn't mean that he can't get knocked out by a punch. That's a knee. Knees are harder than fists for most of the time. Like,
but even then, I'm sure somebody threw punches at this guy before. Like,
Absolutely.
Niggas are not gonna tell me a guy doing MMA for 20-some years and just woke up and say, you know what? This is the first time I'll ever put on boxing gloves for this Jake Paul fight. You know what? This is the first time someone's gonna throw a jab at me. Like, nah.
Salute. Yeah, I gotta say, salute. I see DZ logged on. Salute, DZ. I see.
The punches that they throw in MMA rarely constitute as fucking jabs. Like, no jabs, no like it's different. They don't know how to properly punch.
They don't. You know, and
the fight experience. I'm saying the fight experience.
Okay, why do you think
to make up for that?
Like, why do you think those MMA fighters look so bad in fucking when they spar actual boxers? Like, look how bad Shields made fucking Cyborg look in that sparring.
Nigga, you comparing a fucking 2-time gold medalist to fucking come on.
But it's the point.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this is the thing. You have to keep going out to compare better boxers to make the point. We're talking about a novice boxer against someone who's had 20 years of fighting experience. Whether he's a wrestler, judo, that should count for something. Unless, then I'm gonna just go out and just say it since people don't want to say it. Boxing is the superior fighting sport.
It is. It's the more skilled sport. That's all. As far as like, cause they like, well, they'll say, you
could be on any level. You could be any level of boxer. You could be the highest level of MMA.
It's true.
Just saying. Then we'll just say that. Then
it's more skilled. It's more skilled.
20 years of MMA experience don't count for shit.
In boxing, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Against a prospect, it should, but Jake Paul proved it doesn't.
Yeah, you know. But like I said, Jake Paul will eventually get. He'll eventually run into someone, and he will eventually get. Oh shit! Oh shit! My bad. My Echo Dot's going off.
Start on the video sharing app font.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. My Echo got triggered. My bad, y'all. It actually, and I didn't even say the word Echo. I didn't even say the word Alexa or Echo, so I'm mad. I'm actually mad that thing actually just came on. It just
we started picking up boxing too hard.
Yeah, we said Jake Paul, that shit lit up.
We was like, boxing's the #1 fighting technique. The fucking Echo wasn't having that shit. The Echo gonna transform, nigga. You had to box up that Echo.
Yeah, no, I had to unplug that shit because it was about to go rattle off Jake Paul's whole biography.
That shit about to transform to Optimus Prime. They hit you with them Joe Joyce jabs. You be running around in the living room. Oh, so that's a cartoon right there. Oh my god.
Oh, yo, yeah. You know, more cartoon topics. Yeah, more cartoon stories.
But yeah, boxing is a superior martial arts sport. If I'm training anybody if you want to learn how to defend yourself, learn boxing first, then anything else afterwards.
Facts.
And you'll be good.
Yes,
all this. What if the fight goes to the ground? No one thinks like that. Because no one trying to roll around in fucking project hood neighborhoods and roll around on needles and broken glass and pencils and all types of random shit.
There are dudes that do try to take you down. Like, it happens a lot. So, but start with the boxing first.
Yeah, usually when they get in their ass with their hands.
Right.
Then the takedown is also okay. Fuck it, let me take them down now.
Right.
Well, yeah, I know the MMA cats probably gonna be mad at us, but this is Ring Gang.
Yeah,
we stand on our boxing.
Too bad. This is Ring Gang, not Octagon. No, it's Ring Gang, not Octagon Gang. Fuck out of
here. Facts. And if you got a problem with it, y'all better pick a better motherfucker to beat Jake Paul.
Facts.
That's the story.
Facts.
But we could go all day about fighting experience, but at the end of the day, Jake Paul trumped that shit.
Yeah, and let's say, in boxing, somehow, some way, boxing has the answer for that shit, but we're waiting for it. We're waiting for that answer.
Yeah.
But I think that's a perfect place to stop for today.
Yeah.
So yeah, do some final thoughts. LB, I'll let you go first, man. Your final thoughts.
Oh man, shout out to the squad, DZ, Prolific, Big Rome, PJ Fight Architect, Soprano Sundays. Y'all check out the website, Twitter. We got that new Key Soprano song, video, ink shit. That's just fire, dope visual, the angles, my nigga doing it, Jersey stand up. Yada. Let's go, Ring Gang. Motherfucking episode 3 cartoon on its way is dropping this week.
Yes, sir.
Prolific, hit me up. We got that fire. I put a little clip on TikTok. Follow your boy. Fuck with it.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the 154 division for always giving us great motherfucking fights, regardless of these horrible ass judges.
Yes, sir.
And shit, Return of the Sample Kings out. Uppercut season out. Y'all follow us. Ring Gang, Podomatic, YouTube, Anchor, everywhere. Come fuck with your boy.
Absolutely, yo. That's what it is, man. AOP, your final thoughts?
It's Ring Gang all day, every day, twice on Sundays.
Yes.
Oh, Ring Gang all day, every day, twice on Sundays. I had to say it again. So I mean, you already know what it is. You know, what I'm saying good weekend of boxing. Minus the fuckery, but I mean, honestly, like I just gotta always remind myself that for every good boxing, there's always some fuckery to go with it. So it's always going to be the sesame seeds on my bun. You can't fucking avoid it. I'm not going to.
Dude, that's a lot of fucking fuckery, bro. Like they just poured it out on the food, like
yeah. Oh my god, there's always going to be fuckery, but I mean. Otherwise, you know what it is. You know where to find us on YouTube, Instagram, ringgangradio.com, Twitter, Facebook. You know the deal.
Yes, sir. AO Pilot, your final thoughts?
You know what it is, Ring Gang Radio on everything. Google, Bing, it doesn't matter. Any platform, we're on it. Good week, good Saturday night of boxing. Hopefully the coming weeks, despite having COVID or not having COVID, play a role, hopefully. But anyways, this Ring Gang Radio. Glad to be here and, just keep at it.
Yes, sir. All right. And then myself, like I said, it's unfortunate, like I said, next weekend it will be a little reprieve from boxing, which is good, because, although we do get a fight, it's not the fight, but, like I said, there's always some stuff brewing that we're talking about. Trust me, and like it's gonna pick up some more and whatnot. And then, but yeah, definitely, we're on everything. All you need to do is either go to our website, ringgangradio.com, or just put in Ring Gang Radio in your search, and it will take you to where you need to be. From Podomatic to Anchor to Apple and Google Podcasts, whatever, man. But especially our YouTube, man. So yeah, definitely, definitely sub to that shit and tell your friends to sub to that shit, and then we can all be friends. You did?
Yeah, get them subs up. Shit, we should be at 1,000 by now.
Yeah, I know y'all listening because there are times that people will be be taken off some of the things that we do. You know what I'm saying? Because like originality counts for a lot of things, and we are the most original motherfuckers out here. You know what I mean? So yeah, you do that, and if you feel real generous, we got we got a little thing you can make a donation to for some more fire content if you choose.
Yeah, we ain't like all these other niggas out here. Like get them likes up. I'll be some in the super chat. Nah. You just bless it if you can. Shit.
Yeah, if you
stop biting.
Absolutely. Yeah. So other than that, so for myself, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative. For LB Shuttleworth, the God, the GOAT artist, for King P, Bodega P, and for Conscious Pilot. This has been another wonderful episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. So until next time, peace.